This
I think
conference will now be recorded.
welcome everyone to our sarcoidosis online support meeting. It's a smaller group, which is good because then we have a more intimate experience, a little more one-on-one time, and I like that. So, what I want to do is go around and give each person 30 seconds to tell us about yourself and what you'd like to get out of the meeting today. I'm going to take notes and we will, if we can't get to everything, I'll get to as much of it as I can. And I was thinking we'll start with you, Juanita, since you're,
Since I'm brand
I
new.
don't know, you're just the lucky one today.
Thank you. Let's see. I'm Juanita. I have probably had sarcoidosis or been affected by it my entire life, but I didn't get diagnosed until May 2015. My doctor, it was during the sarcoidosis awareness week. And so I found that it is almost impossible to get a straight answer from any doctor. I'm here to kind of find out how I can be proactive with my health. That's it.
That is awesome. Welcome, Juanita. We're very happy that you are here today. So
Thanks.
I'm going to make a note on that you want to talk about being proactive for your health. Okay, let's see. Kathleen, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Kathleen. I'm a part of Sarcoidosis Long Island with Frank. I've had sarcoidosis for at least diagnosed for 10 years. Reading, I probably have had it for most of my life. Going through a couple of things now. I'm also part of the FSR as a patient advocate. Is that what we're all called now? I don't know either. It was a patient ambassador, so I guess I still have that title until they finally officially change it. And I'm always available to talk to anybody. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, we have another caller. Caller, can you tell us your name?
Yes, my name is Michelle Bellamy, and I've had sarcoidosis for 20 years now. And the last 3 years definitely have been a spin, but it's not going to take me down.
That's a great attitude. Is there anything in particular you would like us to discuss tonight?
Well, yes, I have a rheumatologist because I also have rheumatoid, and sarcoidosis is treated by rheumatoid doctors or pulmonary doctors. In my case, my lungs were affected and scarring, but I have trouble with my joints and soft tissues. And I'm just wondering if anyone has, if it's really big with the joint problem, because I'm battling both doctors with it, and they don't seem to understand if it starts off with rheumatoid, then the sarcoidosis attacks it 10 times more. And so the body aches is just terrible.
I hear you. Yeah, that is a great thing to discuss. So we will come back to that. Thank you so much, Michelle. Can you tell us where you're from?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Lisa, are you in a place where you can talk to us?
I think so. I'm
How are
not
you
sure if
doing?
my what I how am I doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. So I went to the doctor earlier this week, and I'm supposed to go have some more blood work, and I have a little bit of achy joints, but overall I'm feeling better than I was. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I know everybody else doesn't know you as well as I do. So you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Let's see. I think it's been almost 3 years since I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. I probably have had it a lot longer than that. Um, I think all my life too. I've had different weird things that just were never explained. Let's see. So a few years ago I got Lofgren syndrome, and they didn't know what it was for a long time. So I thought I had rheumatoid arthritis, and my legs were really swollen. I still have a lot of swelling, but I could hardly walk, and I was wishing I'd die. You know how you feel that bad, like you just can't keep going on like that. So um, I finally decided to take prednisone against my better judgment, and I took that for a while, and it really helped with the Lofgrens, and then they eventually found they did a chest X-ray and saw the sarcoidosis, and then I had a biopsy. So I use CBD oil. I don't know if that's all right to talk about
Yeah,
on
that's
this, but
fine.
okay. I use that every night, and I feel like that helps me a lot. I think it helps with the joint pain, and it helps with my sleep, because I had a really hard time sleeping. Going to sleep, once I'm asleep, I'm fine, but going to sleep is really hard, like closing my mind.
Is
So
there anything that you're hoping that we discuss tonight?
let's see. I like treatments other than medication. If you talk about treatments or what people are doing to try to help themselves, I try
Okay.
not to do much medication. Um, I wonder how everybody feels about the flu shot. Um, and I wonder too, you brought up a topic on Facebook, Susie, that about the taking vitamin D.
Yeah.
Maybe we could talk about that a little bit.
Okay. That sounds great. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Norman, thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to take 30 seconds to tell us about yourself?
Hi.
Hi.
Well, as I mentioned before, I don't know, maybe I'm going 10, 12 years with this sarcoidosis. It's just, as far as I know, just in my lungs. Um, but actually, just this last week, the doctor is trying medication called Doxa, and it's an antibiotic. I don't know if you tried that. But what I read about it, I think it said 12 patients have shown that it reduces, I forget. I did uh, a Google search, can a doxa reduce or help with sarcoidosis, and had some articles there. So I think it's actually might be helping me, not curing me, but the thing is, I've had a tough time in the last month, and I like to do yoga 2 or 3 times a week, and I haven't been able to do it, but now I'm back at it. And so, coincidence, I don't know. It's kind of like have to see after I'm done with the 10-day dosage to see if it's something that eases off the breathing issue, or, uh, you know, is more long term or short term. I don't know yet, but I'll find
That would
out.
be great. Yeah. I hope it works well for you. Can you spell that for us?
ADOXA.
ADOXA. And it's an antibiotic?
Yeah, antibiotic.
Okay.
And
And oh,
There's
sorry, go
there's
ahead.
another
no,
there's
go ahead.
another name for it. It's called doxycycline.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it's a doxycycline that's for doxa, and I did a Google search. I think I did it on a dox. I just did the other day, and um, I've been kind of doing my own research myself. And I was talking to my doctor last week, and see what he thought about it. And um, the negatives or the cons he kind of mentioned about that, and I don't know if it's because of an antibiotic or that particular drug was. Antibiotics could sometimes, um, I don't know, kill or mess up good cells or something like that. But I've never heard a doctor say anything like that because usually over the years, if I've had pneumonia or something like that, and they give me an antibiotic, um, they've never really talked about the cons of it. They just talked about, uh, you know, that this is a good antibiotic for this situation. And it was actually about a year ago, a urgent care doctor, not my regular pulmonary doctor, who actually gave me this, and I started going back to see over the past time, what has helped me. And I kind of remember this helping me with pneumonia. And I thought, maybe this, and I remember feeling good. So here's a little over a year and a half later, and I said, maybe there's something about this drug. So I went back to this one, see if he was okay taking it. So he prescribed a 10-day dose. And actually, I'm kind of feeling more alive again. So
That is very good to hear. Frank posted in here some indications with the doxycycline. It says do not take iron supplements, multivitamins, calcium supplements, antacids, or laxatives within 2 hours before or after taking doxycycline. Avoid taking any other antibiotics with doxycycline unless your doctor has told you to. Doxycycline could make you sunburn more easily. Avoid sunlight or tanning beds. And I do know, as you were talking, Norman, with every time I am recommended an antibiotic, I'm also told to take probiotics or eat yogurt because we do tend to, with sarcoidosis, it's common to get sick a lot. So we can get a lot of antibiotics. And they do. We have good bacteria that they kill as well. And so we need to try to build that back up. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Norman. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss today?
no, just thought, share with you is kind of like kind of a new try this type thing. When I went to the emergency room about a month ago, because I was having a difficult time, they did give me another antibiotic. I can look up the name, but I got to tell you, for the 7-day period, all I really wanted to do was sleep.
Oh, wow.
And I honestly did not really feel inside that was doing anything for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I had a follow-up phone call with my doctor, and I told him, and then brought up this other one, and well, I remember the ER doctor saying, even though they took an X-ray right in the emergency room where I was, versus times I've gone in for a CAT scan and they put a dye in you and they could see. He did admit if you have infections, they can't really tell under the underlying X-rays of the sarcoidosis if there is a infection. So when I was speaking with them, it's like they kind of go more by symptoms. Are you doing this? Are you coughing and whatnot? So they really don't know for sure even with the X-rays when you have sarcoidosis. So now I'm going to kind of play it where, hey, this is how I feel, and like see how far this goes well, and if it goes well, maybe try in the future or try something else. But um, I don't think the doctors can really tell a lot unless they do a biopsy, and I've already had them cut my throat and go in my lungs and my mouth and all that, and so So all I can say is Kaiser has a few parts over there. So if I need a part in the future, I know where to go.
Yeah, you're right. It is important that we advocate for ourselves. Thank
Anyway,
you
but
very much for that, Norman. Okay, Mary, would you like to take 30 seconds to introduce yourself?
Sure. Um, I'm Mary, and I live in Maryland. I've had sarcoidosis probably for about 12 to 15 years. Got diagnosed 5 years ago. I'm mostly cardiac, although I do have it in other places, like most of you. And I just started working for the Every Life Foundation, so for rare diseases. So I kind of have a little insight to the rare disease world. Yay! So I'm pushing sarcoidosis anywhere I can to the awareness. Yeah, that's my quickie.
That's great. Thank you, Mary. And is there anything that you're hoping that we discuss today?
I'm hoping that, yes, I'm hoping people sign up for Rare Disease Week.
Oh, okay. Well, I will make, actually, instead of me making sure we have time, why don't you go ahead and tell us about that right now? Assume I know nothing about it.
Okay. Rare Disease Week is the last week in February, and it's it's sponsored by the Every Life Foundation and the RDLA, the Rare Disease Legislative Advocates, and it's a great opportunity for people to learn how to advocate for their diseases, even if it's sarcoidosis or something else. They do training sessions. They teach you how to talk about the issues with your legislators, and they actually schedule meetings with your legislators that you go to with the people from your state, and you go and you discuss what your issues are. And they usually select about 3 asks, as they call them, to discuss with the legislators, but you can bring up your own issues, and it's an opportunity to learn how to tell your story and also to share it with as many people. And it's also a great opportunity to meet other people with rare diseases, and there's so many resources. It's a great event because you're surrounded by people who get it, who understand what it's like to be sick. And even if they don't have sarcoidosis, a lot of people have invisible illnesses. So, it's a very supportive environment, and you can do one day or all the days, but and it's free. So it's kind of
Wow.
easy, I know.
And can you do this online or do you have to physically go somewhere?
You do have to physically go to DC, but they do have a lot of the links will be posted afterwards to some of that information. They also sponsor for people who cannot make it to DC for that week. There's going to be 4 different rare on the road events, which are like mini versions, 1 day conferences where people can learn the same information, learn how to do a lot of the things that they do at a more local area. And then this year, if we keep this under wraps, because we haven't formally announced them, but one's going to be in Minneapolis, one's going to be in the San Francisco area, another one in North Carolina, and where am I missing? North, south, east, and west. Got North Carolina, Minnesota, San Francisco. I'm forgetting one, but there's 4 of them.
Okay.
So if you can't make it to Rare Disease Week, it's always a good idea to check these out. It's a great way. I mean, I know that we're all about sarcoidosis and, advocating for ourselves as patients, but it's also good to get involved with the decision makers and the voice that you want to have about what type of legislation do we want, and how can we support our world so we can get more money for research, more money for treatments, and to speed up that whole process. So if you're ready to get to that next level, or even just enter in at whatever point, it's a great opportunity if you can, want to do that. And a lot of the information is available online too. So if you can't make it, don't worry about it. There's plenty of information and lots of help.
That is great. Thank you so much, Mary.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Frank, would you like to take 30 seconds to introduce yourself? I know you're trying to rest your voice, so maybe you only want to take 10. I don't know.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for my voice. It's a little messed up today. I'm Frank Rivera. I'm in New York. I run Sarcoidosis of Long Island. I've had sarcoidosis. Well, I was misdiagnosed in 2004, but then re-diagnosed in 2011. And uh, I'm an ambassador, one of the original ambassadors for FSR, now Advocate. And I've worked with the organization that Mary works with now. Actually, still do. I'm part of their public policy group, and they are a very good group. And it's actually very beneficial to learn a lot of what they're doing because it does help us as an for sarcoidosis because we are a rare disease. So I really do. If you can get on their website, the RDLA or Every Life Foundation, I would highly recommend it.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. Is there anything you're hoping that we discussed today?
I'm just gonna listen and see if I can answer. Help anybody I can.
All right, thanks. Hey, Rick, I know you don't have sarcoidosis, but do you want to introduce yourself?
That's very nice of you. Yeah, I am just here really to support the moderators, but these moderators don't need much support, I can hear. So they do a fantastic job. Rick Davis and we run ANCAN, which sponsors the platform, and we run 18 different support groups a month. And hopefully more. Sarcoidosis is our very first rare disease, and we can see that it makes a big difference, and hopefully we'll sign up some other rare disease people. And I extend my gratitude to Frank, who sought me out rather than, as usually happens, me seeking other people out. So thank you very much. And you can look at our website, ancan.org, Alpha Nancy, Charlie Alpha Nancy, ancan.org, and you can, if you want to get a reminder in the email for this, just sign up on the list, and you'll get a reminder before each meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the list of what topics you guys have said that you would like to discuss today. And oh wait, did we get another person? We have Carrie Valentine. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but you just joined. Do you want to take 30 seconds to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Carrie. I live in Los Angeles, California. Been having sarcoidosis maybe little over 9 years. It's in my skin. It started in my eye, and I'm just dealing every day with the cough. And I guess that's about it.
Okay, are there any particular topics that you're hoping we hit on today?
No, I just like to listen and learn. I mean, I was in on one of them before and I learned a lot, so I'm just willing to just listen and learn.
All right. Well,
sorry.
Oh, no worries. A lot of us are dealing with that. Thank you so much for joining us, Carrie.
Okay.
All right. So the first item on our list is proactive health. And you know what? I did not I think that was Juanita that said this. So I guess we could just share things that we do. And you don't have to volunteer any information if you don't want to, but you also can if you feel like you have something important to share. I know for myself, things that I do to stay healthy, I think the number one most important thing I found with sarcoidosis, I have a lot of pain. I have a lot. I'm mostly neurological. I guess I didn't introduce myself, did I? My name is Susie Torres. I'm in Utah, and I was diagnosed in 2017, but like some of you, I feel like I've had it all my life. And also, I thought of something interesting while Mary was talking. I know there are a lot of other people like me. Sarcoidosis is not my only rare disease. I have a list. And so I really do appreciate rare disease organizations. I have bad reactions to a lot of different medications. And so I try to research side effects and be on the lookout if I try new drugs. Um, and for pain, the thing that has helped me the most is finding a really good physical therapy person. And she actually, it's kind of like an amazing massage therapist that really knows what they're doing and can explain your muscles to you and stuff. But I haven't been able to work since August of 2017. And when you become sedentary like I am, your muscles tighten up. And it's really important to keep them moving so you don't atrophy. And like Norman mentioned that he does yoga, that's really great. I'm actually in a situation that I can't really do much. And so seeing that physical therapist to try to keep my body moving, that really, really helps me a lot. I also have to listen to my body's signals. I try not to overdo it, but I also don't want to be too sedentary. So I stay as active as I can. However, when a lot of people are sick outside, I try to stay home more because I get sick really easy. So, is there anybody else that wants to share what you guys do proactively to prevent the bad parts of sarcoidosis affecting you?
I will.
Well, I do. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How about we go Mary first and then Michelle?
For me, I find, I mean, yeah, and we're all kind of can be cyclical. I was really bad 4 or 5 years ago. I was really, really bad, and I've gotten stronger. And part of that, I really believe, was the reduction in stress. And I really think stress plays a huge, huge role in your overall health. So one of the best things for me, which I'm not necessarily recommending for everyone, was to get divorced. But just generally changing your mind about what's important in life and what's worth your stress and trying to avoid it. And I know life is full of stressful, opportunities, but some things we're just have trained ourselves to react stressful to those, and we don't necessarily need to. So I think that reducing stress, which might be yoga, might be getting enough sleep, whatever it happens to be, that has been huge for me. And the other thing that I tend to do is, because before I was sick, I was one of those super active people who just did a million things all the time, and retraining myself to say no, to not do so much, and to, even if I'm not exhausted, to rest. Like, I schedule rest. So that way it forces me to do it. Because if I say, oh, I'll rest after this, then it never comes, because I'll fill the time. So I schedule rest in the hopes that keeps me healthy. So that's one thing.
That's great advice, Mary, and I totally agree with that. One thing that I noticed as I was getting sicker is that my body doesn't know the difference between good and bad stress.
Mm-hmm.
I do know when I finally quit my job, I got healthier. Um, and yeah, that really resonated with me. That's great advice. Michelle, you want to go ahead and share?
Yes, as I had said before, I have pain in my body, in my joints, and I have the rheumatoid, which they're kind of going together. Well, the thing that I know that I can do is walk, and I that helps me out a lot just to keep in shape. But I can't overdo it, because then something happens and I can't do it for 3 weeks because I'm an overdoer. I want to overdo everything, and it just isn't worth it. I have found out to kill myself into doing things and not realizing that oh, you're sick, and then I'm really sick. So I've also quit my job. It's been going on it's 4 years, and I've gotten better because I felt like I was going to die. Um, I I I don't know what else to say.
Well, thank you for that, Michelle. And I do agree that walking is great as long as you can handle doing it. I've gone through times when it has helped me as well. I
Yes,
neglected. I need to read some comments here. So Frank said that absolutely in response to Mary, he said absolutely we have the opportunity to really think about what is really important and worthy of our energy, and that Rick said love Mary's idea about scheduling rest. That's a great idea. Oh, sorry, Mary was the one that said the last comment. Frank said take time for yourself. I know easier said than done, but truly your life depends on it. And those are all really great comments. I know that long before I had got diagnosed with sarcoidosis, it was August in Phoenix, so like 100, at least 115 degrees, right? And I bought a house and I got pneumonia. It's, yeah, it is like, how the heck do you get pneumonia in August in Phoenix? Well, now we know if you have sarcoidosis, you can get pneumonia anytime, anywhere.
and they said that Phoenix, Arizona was the best place to live with sarcoidosis.
I think that really depends on the person. It was not the best place for me. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, did anyone else have a comment about how to be proactive?
I do. This is Carrie. I do try to walk every day, and I'm learning to say no. When somebody asks me to do something, I'm just learning to say no, I can't do it, because in the past I'm the type that always try to help everybody, and helping everybody was making it hard on myself. So that's what I'm learning to do. And when I do walk, it takes my mind away from anything that's bothering me. So, and I also try to watch what I eat. So that helps out. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Those are all great tips, Carrie. And I know saying no can be hard when you're not used to having those boundaries, because it actually hurts my heart to say no to people because I want to help everybody. My spirit is willing, but my body is weak. And so I have to respect my body. Is there anyone else that had a comment about that? Kathleen, go ahead.
Yeah,
Somebody else wanted to go. Go ahead, Susie. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who was that? Was that Juanita?
that was me, but I was going to wait for Kathleen first.
Well, you go ahead first, Juanita, and then Kathleen will go.
Right now, the battle for me on being proactive is getting my doctors to agree that they need to do more. Kaiser does not have a specialist for sarcoidosis. I do have a rheumatologist, but that just happened recently after I did a whole lot of screaming and whining. But for me, the rheumatologist, they are into autoimmune and anti-inflammatory diseases. So she suggested some of the things that was happening to me. Maybe we should be there before they happen and take, prevention, as opposed to, we'll wait till you get diagnosed with something and then we'll refer you to the right doctor. So that helps. Facebook has been my haven. Every single thing that's gone wrong with me, I've posted it on one of the pages. I'm on every single sarcoidosis page I can find. And invariably, I get an answer. Just before I was officially diagnosed, I had cystic acne, skin sarcoidosis, and it was just so ugly I wouldn't go out in public. And complete strangers would say, "What's wrong with you?" And it was on one of the lines, somebody said, "Just slather coconut oil on your face, you'll be fine." And they were right. The burning and itching stopped, and then it
Oh,
just,
wow.
it burning and itching stopped. And now I still get a little teeny flare up, but nothing like it looked before. And I wouldn't have had, I'd still be struggling with this with different medications, different oils, creams, and whatnot. if it hadn't been for that Facebook page. I also picked up the idea of going to look for AIP, autoimmune protocol diet. So I take a lot of turmeric. I smell like a turmeric bottle now, but it does it does hold the pain at bay. And I'm acknowledging that my lifestyle also has a lot. I broke my arm in November, really, really bad, so I couldn't go out of the house for pretty much 2 months without a lot of assistance. But I got to sleep, and a lot of my aches and pains were gone with that enforced rest. So I'm recognizing that some of that is stress. It's just my lifestyle, and I need to work on that. So I'm working right now on leaving work on time. I failed today, but I'm working on getting to work on time, leaving on time, putting in my 8 hours, and not staying because I want to do one more thing. That's it. Oh, one more thing. Is anybody else going to the sarcoidosis patient advocate conferences in Chicago, Ohio, or Florida? They're 2 different times of the year. I'm planning on driving to Chicago for the one in Chicago in April.
Okay. I know I'm hoping to go to the one in Portland in September.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll hit on that. If you guys have chat available, maybe you could answer that question in the chat. Also, Rick said in chat, my mother had a sign beside her bed that said the gentle art of saying no. And if you call, if you called
I
on
like
the
that.
phone, then you can answer that question for us when I come around to you again. But thank you for that, Juanita. Those are great tips. And that work one, yes, because when I used to work, I always signed up for overtime and I always signed up to volunteer for everything. And yeah, so just work your 8 hours and go home. I think that's great advice. Okay, Kathleen.
There's nothing big, Susie. I was just saying, wanted to say, Mary, thank you so much. That is a great idea. Frank, I'm scheduling times when we need to take a break, okay? If anybody, yeah, because everybody can't see, Frank just stuck his tongue out at me, okay? Frank and I have a very difficult time of saying no, and we're both trying to work on it, not only together, but separately, even with our families. I have a difficult time saying no. I'm not working right now, and you kind of think you have to do everything, and it's physically not possible. And with everything that I'm going on, I'll probably be hooking up with Susie on the neurological stuff, and Mary probably more on the cardiac stuff. So I've got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak, but I think it's all medical. So Frank, I'm taking a break after this. Okay.
Excellent.
And Juanita, thank you so much even for yes, no is not a dirty word. So we have to realize that. So thank you all for that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys. Let's see, hold on. I'm going to go to the next one, which is the joint problems. That was Michelle, I believe, that brought that one up. And I just wanted to touch on, maybe you guys already know this, but I don't think it can be repeated too often. They do call this the snowflake disease because it affects everyone differently. And it can attack any part of your body. It does not have to be your lungs. It can be your joints. We actually have one lady here in Utah that only has it in her bones. They thought she had bone cancer and they did a biopsy, and it was sarcoidosis. And she deals with a lot of pain. So the joint problems, I know for a fact that sarcoidosis can attack your joints just from my personal experience. I have my predominant problem with sarcoidosis is my peripheral nerves. So your central nervous system is your brain and your spinal column. All the rest is your peripheral nervous system. And that's where I have it. So it affects my heart rate, my blood pressure, my digestion. And I have been diagnosed with small fiber neuropathy and fibromyalgia. And recently, my neurologist made a comment that there are probably 3 different diagnoses for the same exact thing. And so with you, Michelle, you have the rheumatoid arthritis and the sarcoidosis. So you probably have the, I'm sorry, I'm getting a chill here. My teeth are almost chattering.
I've also had to go and see a heart doctor. I had arrhythmias, so I'm taking really like 11 pills a day, and so I'm taking heart pills, two of them, one twice a day, and I'm just not understanding. But then it's also I forget things. It's in my brain, and it's just everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I can just testify that I believe you. I know it's real. Um, does anybody have anything that, oh, the last thing that I was going to say is with sarcoidosis and the rheumatoid arthritis, you probably have times when you're feeling the pain and you don't know which condition is causing it. And it,
Right.
and that's frustrating too. Does anybody else have any comments that they want to make about the joint problems associated with sarcoidosis? Okay. Um, I've tried various things. So far, I haven't found anything that really is wonderful for the joint pain. So I'm still looking. Recently, I just bought a joint spray, which is basically a mix of essential oils. So I'll let you guys know if I feel like it works at all. All right, the next thing. Okay, the next one is, how do you feel about the flu shot? And are there any treatments that you use other than medication? So, like alternative holistic treatments. Does anybody want to comment on that one?
Well, the flu shot this year, it's they found a new strain, and that's why the flu shot isn't working as well as it has in the past. So it's just that's unfortunately it happens that way. Um, there's always something new. So I always get the flu shot, and I could say that I haven't gotten the flu in probably 6 years, I'd say, which is really good for me, considering my white blood cell count is through the roof. So yeah, it has helped me. There are some people who don't believe in it, and you know, I understand that. But in my personal case, it has helped me.
I'm going to
Thank you,
chime
Frank.
in here too.
Oh, go ahead.
I got the flu shot this year. I get it every year, and I tested it because my daughter during the Christmas holiday was home from college, had the flu. I was taking care of her, and I was petrified because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm totally gonna get this. And she had the flu. She was horribly sick, and she left, and I did not get sick. And I'm happy I got the flu shot. So it works for me.
That's
I
awesome.
also, oh,
Oh, go ahead.
okay.
Go
I
ahead.
also take the flu shot. I know people are against it. A lady got on my page the other day when I commented on someone getting a flu shot, but it's helped me. You know, I've had pneumonia when I first was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, but you know, it's helped me. This cough just won't go away, but I haven't had a bad, flu. I've had days when I'm in the bed and I think it's more fatigue. I suffer with serious fatigue. So, but I do take the flu shot.
Thank you. Was there anyone else? Okay.
This is
I,
Juanita.
oh, sorry. Go
Whoops,
ahead,
go ahead.
Juanita.
No, I was gonna say I did take the flu shot. I don't like to take it. I whine about it, but they encourage us to do it at work, and my boss always drags me along with her and sits there and holds my hand so I won't cry. But I've it's weird. I have sarcoidosis, but I've also been relatively healthy, and so I I don't know if it's because of the flu shot or it's because of the fact that I don't seem to catch every virus that walks down the street.
Well, that's nice. because I feel like I do catch every virus that walks down the street. I am the oddball. I do not get the flu shot, but I did mention earlier that I get side effects to a lot of medications. And the flu shots make me sick, and people argue with me about that. So I don't think it's that the flu shot gives me the flu. I think it's that there's something in the flu shot that doesn't react well with my body. People in my house, so I have my daughter and her husband and their 4 kids live upstairs. We were sick for like 6 to 8 weeks. Me almost the whole time, them rotating with viruses. But I think 4 of us got the actual flu test, which I hate, but it's much more pleasant if you don't actually have a sinus infection. And we did not have the flu. So we were just having random viruses that wouldn't have been prevented by the flu shot anyway. Yeah, and as for the treatments other than medications, I try tons of stuff because of all of my bad reactions. So I use red yeast rice because I can't take statins, and I take magnesium for my migraines, and then lots of different vitamins for different reasons. And so I don't know if that is a great endorsement since I'm so sick, but maybe I would be worse off if I didn't. Okay, the next one is talking about vitamin D. So this has come up a lot for me lately. There are studies out there. I apologize. I'm not one of those people that can give you a link to a paper, even though I have read them. But I have documented in my medical records that I do not process calcium or vitamin D properly because of my sarcoidosis. That is what has convinced my pulmonologist that it's systemic. And I have my endocrinologist, my vitamin D is so low that they want me on a 50,000 milligram a week supplement. And so what I do, every time they order a vitamin D test, I tell them that I also have to have a vitamin D 1,25 test. It's a different vitamin D test. It's also a blood test. But even though my regular D is so low, and it keeps getting lower, on that D 1,25, that it comes out normal. Now, with that being said, there are symptoms of low vitamin D. Fatigue is one of them. Depression can be one of them. Reduced pain tolerance is another one. And recently, my fatigue and my pain tolerance have been so bad that I just talked to my primary doctor today about taking a small vitamin D supplement. So the last time I listened to my endocrinologist, and took the 50,000 milligrams a week, I got kidney stones within a month because my body doesn't process the D correctly. But right now the fatigue and the pain are bad enough that I decided the fatigue and pain are worse than the kidney stones at this moment. And so if I actually get kidney stones again, we'll discuss that later. But so I'm going to try the vitamin D, even though it's contraindicated, because we still need vitamin D, even though we don't process it right, if that makes any sense. So I have some comments, and we have a new caller. Caller, do you want to tell us your name?
Hi, it's Linda Lourdes.
Hello, Linda. Do you want to take 30 seconds to tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis 20 plus years ago, and it was in my spleen, so I had a splenectomy. Then it was in my lungs and in my liver. It has since subsided from my liver. My lungs are kind of, I'm not really sure. Lately, I also have some heart problems. I have pulmonary stenosis, and I have severe asthma, hence my voice, because I've been in and out of the hospital as of late. So I have to see some specialists and just try to figure out what we're missing, because we're definitely missing something. And funny you should talk about fatigue, because my fatigue is absolutely crazy lately. And I did used to take vitamin D, and I used to take lots of vitamins, and I just settled for just a regular vitamin because I'm on so many other medicines. But I'm trying to line up specialists to try to figure out. Unfortunately, the doctor that I originally saw in Mount Sinai no longer takes my insurance. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But I'm having a hard time, mostly breathing.
I hear you. Gosh, well, thank you for that, Linda. I actually recently, I think it was in November, I went to my pulmonologist because I just knew I had pneumonia. And she was like, no, honey, your asthma is just out of control. So that's when I learned asthma can feel like pneumonia. It's pretty
Exactly.
scary. Yeah.
Exactly. And the weather doesn't help. You cannot breathe when you go outside.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So, but that's
Goodness.
that.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now does anybody have any questions or comments about the vitamin D topic?
Susie, I'm just gonna say something quick with that. The one thing you have to make sure, and Susie did bring that up, there's 2 types of vitamin D tests. Make sure you get both. There is a good vitamin D and a bad vitamin D. So you really want to make sure you get both the 1 and the 25, right? 25 it is?
The one, it's like, it just says DOH or D25.
Yeah,
The
D25.
one that they don't think about
Yeah.
and is actually hard to get them to order is a D1, 25.
Yeah. So I highly recommend you do that. We were at I was at a conference, and Dr. Culver from Cleveland Clinic, who is also one of the better, if not one of the best, sarcoidosis doctors, did recommend that highly. He couldn't. I mean, he stressed it so many times when I was at this conference with him, to get both. Ask for both, because your regular vitamin D may show low, but the other one may not, and that also can show you if your body is actually breaking down the vitamin D, and so that's another reason why you want both of them, because like what happens with Susie, so, it doesn't react well with it, but yet she needs it. Everybody needs it. So that what the second test will help you a lot on that, to help you if you're to know if you're breaking it down better.
Thank you, Frank. All right, was there anyone else that had a question?
I'm just looking because I actually had my appointment on Monday with my new doctors at Johns Hopkins, and I'm looking at my orders for my blood work. And which ones did you say vitamin D for the test?
Okay, the regular one either says DOH or D25.
Oh, yep, there's one for that, and then there's one for vitamin D 1.25.
Perfect.
Yes, that's
that
it.
both of them? Yeah.
That's a good doctor. You should give him a high five.
I know. I'm looking at all this blood work, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to schedule that. And I'm like, it's great that I have it, but she says after that we're going to evaluate the vitamin D, because she was talking about how important and the vitamin D information is for sarcoidosis patients.
Yeah, I actually have to beg for that test, and my primary doctor is the only one that's learned how to order it. And she says she gets all these warnings that pop up on her computer that say this is not indicated for this patient. And she says, I just click through them, and that way you get your test.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, so the next one, oh, I think we covered everything because now I'm back to the rare disease week. So there was the one question. So let's do a round robin and ask everybody if you are planning to go to one of the, why can't I remember what they're called? I just have Chicago, Ohio, and Florida written on my paper. You know what I'm talking about, Frank? What are they called again?
The National Federal Research Stop Sarcoidosis, is it? Conference, patient advocate conferences.
Yeah, the patient advocate, the sarcoidosis patient advocate conferences. There's 4, isn't there 4 of them?
3 so far.
Oh, there's only 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ohio, Florida, and Chicago.
So is this through FSR or through another one?
It's through FSR.
Okay, so there is a fourth one. There is Portland.
Yeah.
Because
There's
that's the
Portland,
one
I think,
I'm
is the number.
interested in.
Yeah.
So Frank, are you planning to go to one?
Not yet. I'm not sure yet, but I don't think so as of yet, because the travel for me is very hard. Even just to go to Washington D.C. for our ambassador training is really tough for me. So not scheduled to yet, but I may be speaking at one. I'm not sure yet. So we're gonna see. But as of right now, no.
All right. How about you, Mary?
I'm not sure yet because the locations aren't necessarily great for me. Where are they again? Because they're Portland, you said, or?
Chicago, Ohio, and Florida.
Yeah, I mean, if I could do Chicago, I would love to. I used to live there, but at this point, I don't know if I can make it. I've been to them before. I went to, well, something similar to that last year. I think it was in Boston. Is that where we had some?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
So they're great. I really highly recommend them, but I'm still unsure.
Okay. How about you, Juanita?
Yeah, I'm planning on going to the one in Chicago. And I'm going to drive from Maryland, but then I want to go to Kansas afterwards. So that kind of, that's a good pit stop. Huh?
Okay.
Making a trip out of it.
Yeah, I have a son that lives in Kansas.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'll drive halfway to stay in Chicago for the conference and then follow it up with him. And then pray I can make it back. I might be tired at that point.
Thank you, Juanita. How about you, Kathleen?
No, they're all too far away this year. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. That's how I felt last year. I'm excited about Portland, although it's not that close to Utah. How about you, Michelle? I don't hear anything. Are you still here, Michelle?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know for sure if I am. I had you guys on mute and just started talking. I don't know for sure if I am since I just heard about it. So if I do, it would be the one in Chicago or Ohio. Both of them are pretty close. Chicago, so I don't know.
Well, that sounds good. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
How about you, Norman?
Well, what's the benefits about going? That's what I don't understand.
Well, I've never been. Who wants to answer that question?
All right, I guess I can talk about this one a little bit. They have a lot of experts at these conferences. The top doctors that are in the United States in that area usually go to those conferences. Like especially in the Midwest, you'll see Dr. Culver. Like I said, he's one of the top ones in the world. He's actually part of FSR's scientific board. So, but there's they usually have the top doctors. They have also patients that actually talk, or sometimes they're ambassadors, or just sometimes they're just patients that have been known. They'll talk at them, give them their experiences. I actually spoke at two of them, DC and New York. That's right. Can't forget my own. I spoke at both of those. But yeah, they actually are really good because you get one-on-one time also with them. After they speak, you have time to actually talk to them one-on-one if you have a question about, like they were talking about rheumatoid or something like that. Most of the doctors there are not just pulmonary doctors; they're usually sarcoidosis specialists. So they know full body most of the time. It matters what area you're in, but most of the time they get doctors that are full body sarcoidosis specialists. So it's really good to pick their brain. And then you also meet other sarcoidosis patients, and you really get to talk and get to know people from different areas. That's one of the reasons how I got to know a lot of people in sarcoidosis is because of being at these conferences. So they are very informative.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going.
Yeah, like me or any of us, as a patient, you see a doctor, and of course, you expect the doctor to be, let's say the expert, even if they don't have a cure for it. But obviously, know the avenues of drugs or what's going on. Um, uh, I was thinking, when I was hearing about these conferences, well, I ask questions, or they, suggest this or suggest that drug or whatever, and you come back and without trying to insult, your doctor or intimidate them, it's like, well, hey, I heard this drug, or I was at this conference, or, I told my doctor last week when I had a one-on-one with him that, hey, I joined this sarcoidosis user group, and I actually learned a lot. I also thought sarcoidosis was just in the lungs, and it's like, wow, I never really knew there's all these different forms of it till you guys start telling about yourselves, and it's like, God. So obviously, not, I believe knowledge is power, and it buys a lot. Now I'm actually taking the attitude after this user group with my doctor to starting to suggest things, because I've been sitting on, probably just like most of you, sit on this ride, let them tell us, take this or take that. But now it's like, okay, this is kind of going on long enough. Obviously they really don't know, and everything I read is, no matter where I read it, is nobody really can pinpoint what causes it and how to cure it. So I do have a different attitude about going forward, and now the way I talk to my doctor about suggesting things. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Florida, or I also got Disney World there while I'm there, or something like, so maybe I'll try something like that. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know.
All right, give you something to
When's the
think about.
Florida one?
I don't have any details at this time.
Of which one?
Florida.
Oh, Florida. Where in Florida? I don't know.
No.
I can
When
look
is
it up. Oh, I could tell you. Hold on. I'll find it and I'll let you know.
And
Well,
yeah.
go
I can
ahead,
find
Kathleen.
it right now.
While Frank's looking for it, Susie, I just wanted to mention to Norman and to Juanita, or anybody else that has not been to one of the sarcoidosis big
Conferences?
thing. Thank you, conferences. That's the brain fog. Sorry, it's
No,
right
we
there,
don't
I can't pull it out. So Norman, one of the great things, because I've been to two, is really, as Frank said, getting to meet other patients and getting to know them and getting a little bit more support from them. Maybe they have something a little bit more knowledgeable, and listening to the doctors, not for nothing. And you get a free lunch. So there you have it.
There you go. That's why we
Okay.
go for lunch.
Just so I'll
Well,
put
it's
it
all
in the
weekend.
group. Yeah, I'll put it in the group. But the Miami, Florida one is June 26th to June 28th.
Thank you for that.
Chicago is. Oh, hold on.
April 3rd
You guys
to the
keep on
6th.
talking. I'll get back and let you know. Yeah,
It's
there you
April
go.
3rd to the 6th. I think it's
Yep.
Good Friday weekend. It's right around Easter.
And Norman, Foundation for Sarcoidosis Research is a great online tool for you, and
Yeah,
for all of us.
I put a link in. It's for the Foundation for Sarcoidosis Research, it is their treatment protocol. Whenever you feel like you need information on any part of the body, just in that link, it touches pretty much every part of your body, and you can print it out and bring it to your doctor. So this way you can say, see, I have facts behind it. Because a lot of doctors like to know facts, and
Right.
and since that's a national organization, you can't get too much more facts than that.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Norman.
No, thanks. The one in Miami sounds interesting here.
Sounds good to me too.
All right. We have 3 more people that I need to ask, but Jay Johnson, I don't think I picked up on you. What does your J stand for? Do you want to take 30 seconds to introduce yourself?
Is that Jay Johnson me, or is it
I think
somebody else?
I think there's 2 of you in
Oh,
here.
are there 2 of you, Juanita? Okay. All right.
I'm calling in via the phone, and I'm sitting in my car now. I'm home. But
Okay.
till the
All
call's
right.
over.
So I did not miss anyone. All right. And I'm going to share the information from the chat with those of you on the phone as soon as we're done here. And also Frank is putting it in the Facebook group, so you'll be able to find it there. So Carrie Valentine, are you planning to attend one of the patient conferences?
No, I will not be attending. They're a little bit far for me, so
Okay.
not this time.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're in LA, so you don't want to come up to Portland to meet me?
Maybe next time, it's especially if I would have known about it earlier, and I did read about it, but just didn't note it down. So now it's kind of late for me to get things started. But I plan on, next year getting more involved.
That sounds great.
Have you ever gone to the Global Genes Rare Disease Summit in San Diego?
I did that when I first got sarcoidosis, but I think I was going through so much depression. I was there, but I wasn't there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And plus those weekends it's a very tough weekend. As a lot of you guys know who know me, I've been to many of these. I think I've been to 6 rare disease weeks, and I've been to 5 global genes rare disease. It's a week also, pretty much, or 4 days. And they do take a lot out of you. So when you do go, make sure you take care of yourself there. If you're gonna miss something, just let them know, and they're fine with that. So don't ever worry about, like, if you don't feel up to it, because they understand. They are part of the rare disease community. They understand. They're very much will help you any way they can.
Okay, so the last one is Linda. Are you planning to attend one of the conferences this year?
Not at this time, but if I did, it would be Florida.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Linda, let's go take a trip.
As soon as I can breathe, I'd love to.
Kathleen from Long Island.
Let me tell you, they took my spleen out for sarcoidosis, and they told me I didn't need it. They lied to me. I'm sick all the time with everything. I can't even get near anybody with a cold. I just went on disability, which I'm getting like nothing for every month. I can't be near anybody with germs. I can't go near. I just get sick and end up in the hospital with a simple cold. It's crazy.
Why did they say to take out your spleen? Like, what were your symptoms that?
Because I had low-grade fever and pains and all these things that they couldn't figure out. I saw 9 doctors, including disease specialists. This is 20 plus years ago. And I went in for like a routine kind of thing where they were kind of going to look at my spleen because they saw spots on it in the imaging. And when I woke up, I had no spleen. They told me it was totaled with sarcoidosis nodules all over it. I also had it on my liver, but they couldn't take that out, and thankfully that subsided. And then I had, over all the years, I had some like I said earlier, on my lungs, but I don't really know where that stands right now, and I have all these other, breathing issues. So, but yeah, that's why they took the spleen out, and I get sick all the time.
Oh.
So.
Did they tell you that before they took your spleen out, that you would get sick a lot?
No, they told me I didn't need it, like a spare part, like whatever else they tell you don't need, the gallbladder and whatever the other one is.
Yeah, I've heard
no,
that.
they didn't.
That's what I've heard too. I mean, I haven't had issues with it, but I always heard, oh, if don't worry, because I have it in the spleen as well. They were like, oh, don't worry about it. You don't really need the spleen.
No, and they say your liver makes up for it for some reason. But my liver had it on it too, but thankfully it wasn't as bad because you need that. But the spleen, yeah, I kind of miss it.
Yeah, your spleen is part of your lymphatic system, and that's there to fight disease.
Yeah.
Right. They say it's like a filter on a car that's supposed to filter out all the bad things, and I don't have one of those. So they kind of come with me, and I've been on steroids and prednisone, whatever, and Solumedrol now for at least 8 weeks, which is making me fat and crazy and very awake and all of the above. I'm on my 3rd round of antibiotics, triple nebulizers, and, along with all my other medications. And it's concerning me at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Linda.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And thank you, Frank, for everything you do and all you other people that I don't know. And, yeah, I'm sending hugs and blessings, and I hope you all feel well.
You are welcome, and I received that hug. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I just learned that our JJ is not Juanita. It says Joyce Johnson. Joyce, are you able to talk to us? Oh, it doesn't look like it. Well, if you change your mind, go ahead and jump in. It looks like she just wants to listen. So I want to read to you the comments for those of you that are on the phone and can't see them. So Mary put in the link for rare ad. Oh, Joyce, go ahead.
I just figured it out.
Yay! Do you want to take 30 seconds to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Joyce Johnson. I'm from Colorado. I actually am Frank's friend on Facebook, but don't know any of the rest of you. I've had sarcoidosis probably for more than 25 years, but I was not diagnosed until 2012. I did go to the conference in Denver last year. It was just a half-day conference, very worthwhile, put on by the experts in the sarcoidosis clinic at National Jewish Health. I'd love to come to Portland and meet you. I have a son who lives in Gig Harbor, Washington, and it would be close, but I probably won't be able to go.
Well, if that changes, let me know. I would love to meet you as well.
All right, I will let you know, Susie. Thank you.
You're welcome. And from earlier in our meeting, we were asking everyone how they feel about the flu shot. Do you want to answer that question?
I've been getting a flu shot every year since back in the late 1990s when I was getting them at work and at our work health fair. And I do that every year. I get the high dose version now that I'm more than 65 years old. And it's well over 65. So.
And you feel like it works good for you, I'm assuming, since you keep getting it? Okay.
I do.
Well, that is great. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I have a spouse who has been recently diagnosed with serious life-threatening diseases, and I'm having trouble coordinating his care and mine. Can anybody else speak to that?
Well, I can tell you, and then I'll give other people an opportunity to reply. My husband and I are both disabled. He actually became disabled first. And so I got to watch everything that he went through and learn from his experience. One of the ways that we deal with it is we share doctors. So we have the same primary doctor and we'll go together and call it a date and have lunch afterwards. Or we also share a neurologist. And so we do the same thing with our neurologist. I don't think that's something that most couples get to enjoy. But yeah, and with the household chores, that we try to take care of each other because one person will be sicker at one point and vice versa. So I don't know if that helps at all, but that's kind of how we do it. And we play to our
Okay.
strengths. So what the things that are harder for me might be a little easier for him and vice versa. So we try to do the things that are easy. The person that has the easiest time doing that chore will do it.
Right now, he's just having some new diagnoses and lots of doctor appointments. And some people are looking at me as being selfish because I want to go to my own doctor appointments that have already been set. And this is difficult.
Yeah, you are not being selfish, Joyce. You have to take care of yourself. Like they always say in the airplane, you have to put on your own mask first.
Right.
That's still true. Even if he's dying, you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of him.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have a comment they want to share with Joyce?
I just back up what you're saying, Susie. I mean, no matter what, you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't, you're not going to be here, and who's going to be able to take care of him then?
True.
Exactly.
And don't be
Yeah.
so hard on yourself either.
Yes.
I've got one more question. I have, but maybe we can talk about it next time. Does anybody else have family, a sibling, or parent as well with sarcoidosis?
I actually did. I did. I actually lost my uncle to sarcoidosis.
Ah.
Yep. He died. He was only 55. Yep.
Wow.
We talked about this last week. We talked about this on our last meeting. There were a lot of people that actually have family, and I don't know of anybody family-wise, but my dad had a lot of the same symptoms that I did, but he died before they actually diagnosed him with it, and he ended up getting cancer, so it was kind of different.
My uncle ended up getting small cell lung cancer, but he had sarcoidosis first, and he only had 40% of his lung capacity, and then had the small cell and died in 9 months.
Gotcha. Yeah, my brother has it. We were diagnosed the same month, but neither one of us knew the other one was going through all of the tests. So, but I do know in my family, rheumatoid arthritis runs through the family, and I've heard that if you already have an autoimmune disease in the family, you're much more likely to get it, even if it's not the same disease.
Here's an interesting thought. I'm adopted, so my family is technically not blood, and my mother died of bronchiectasis, which is a lung disease, and my brother of pulmonary fibrosis, which if you look it up, the three of them are interconnected. Well, the two of them are interconnected with sarcoidosis. So that's an interesting thought, and since we're not blood, could it be environmental?
Absolutely.
Actually, I was going to say that since there are a lot of environmental factors of acceleration, they say the heavy dust and the molds, the chemicals. So it could be because of that. But we still have to have something, something genetic. I'm saying, and I'm hearing a lot more lately from other doctors that there has to be something genetic. So I think sooner or later they are going to come down to the fact, but they're not saying that it is genetic because they haven't found the gene yet. So that's why but I've talked to many doctors, and they say that it is quite not popular, but it happens a lot when family members get it.
Yeah, I've heard that it's most likely that there's a genetic predisposition and then we're exposed to some sort of environmental thing. I also suspect my two brothers have it, but they don't advocate for themselves like I do. They just listen to the doctor and do whatever. And yeah. So yeah. Okay, so I want to share with you these links for the people on the phone. Mary shared rareadvocates.org/RDW, which I think stands for Rare Disease Week. Is that right, Mary?
Yep.
Okay. And then Frank shared stopsarcoidosis.org/treatment-protocol. And that's where you find all the information about treating the different kinds of sarcoidosis.
I also put each one in the Facebook page also.
Awesome. And you put Mary's link also, the Rare Advocates?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a good time to wrap up because my IV pump just told me I'm done, and so I have to disconnect. But thank you all for being here. This was really good. And I hope you have a wonderful. I'm sorry, go ahead. What?
No, I just was thanking you. Thanks. You did a great job.
Thank you, Susie. Good job.
Great job, Susie.
You are very
thank
welcome.
you. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Be well, everyone. Bye.